AI isn't just changing the contact center, it's redefining it. From automating routine interactions to reshaping the role of human agents, the future of CX looks very different to what we knew even just a few years ago. So I'm Rob Scott from CX Today, and in this conversation I'm joined by Zendesk's CEO Tom Eggemeier and Jonathan Barouch, who's the VP of GM of Contact Center at Zendesk. And together we're going to be exploring how AI is becoming the core of customer experience, Zendesk's bold vision for the next decade, and most importantly, what it means for their customers. Welcome, Tom and Jonathan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Really excited for today's conversation. But first of all, Tom, just to set the scene, I mean, contact centers have been through waves of disruption. So from legacy on-prem systems to cloud adoption and now AI, where are we really on that journey today?
I think we're at an unprecedented time. I've been in the contact center industry for almost 20 years, a little less than that. And prem to cloud was big, but this AI journey is absolutely 100 times bigger because it's going to allow people to do personalization. It's going to be able to be more proactive than reactive, and it's going to be increasing customer satisfaction. And so I really think we're just in that unprecedented time that's going to make the premise to cloud transition look minuscule, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jonathan, from your vantage point, running the contact center business, what lessons did we learn from the first wave of cloud migration that apply directly to today's AI adoption?
Well, Tom showed me up with 20 years experience in the contact center industry.
Not quite 20. I'm going to date myself here a little bit, Jonathan. I'd have to go add it. Maybe it's like 17 or something like that.
That's good. You outed yourself, Tom. It's fine. But I think what's interesting that we're seeing at Zendesk is you have these sort of orphaned customers who've been on these on-prem systems from 20 years ago that are on-premise, that are in the basement, that are with screwdrivers, and they're finally ready to move. And they're looking at kind of all the vendors and they're saying, look, some of them were cloud first, and 10 years ago that was impressive, but they're sort of looking around saying, well, who's AI first? And I think what we're seeing is those vendors that have built AI deeply into the core of the solution that not only helps agents, but to Tom's point, can help automate customer outcomes with procedures. I think those are the ones that are getting customers really excited. The reason we joined Zendesk was because of the R&D machine that is adding AI across the whole suite. And rather than buying these bolt-on bot companies that raised money from the latest hot VC, like this is something that Zendesk has been doing for a very long time, and it's built across the entire suite. And so I think for us, it's like a single stack, and you're seeing these hops of kind of leapfrogging the CCaaS era and going straight to that kind of AI era, which is really cool for us to see.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. And Jonathan, Zendesk's resolution platform puts outcomes at the center of CX, doesn't it? So how are conversational AI and intelligent automations and real-time agent assistance changing the way customers and agents experience these services?
I mean, what we're seeing is this merging of all these various technologies that customers used to have to buy separately, that it was CRM, and then it was customer experience management, and then it was CCaaS, and they're trying to stitch all those things together. It's really hard to get a customer resolution, a customer outcome, when you're forcing a human agent or a digital worker to traverse these kind of clunky systems that are not integrated. I think our value proposition and kind of what Thomas has mentioned is like the simplicity, the ease to set up, and the fact it's all in one place. So you get case management, you have chat, you have omni-channel, you have your digital workers, and you have your contact center in the same spot. You're not spending all of your cycles connecting it together. And so therefore you can actually just focus on the customer and the mission, which is kind of delivering the outcome and the resolution, all the way through to actually, in our case, as a vendor, charging only when there is an outcome as well. So there's kind of not wastage for the customer. So we've essentially reimagined the whole journey to say if the outcome is a customer resolution, what do we have to do all the way through from the way we charge, the way we talk to customers, and the way we assemble the product. And so contact center is just one of kind of those features within the full suite.
I remember getting on stage in like circa 2012 talking about how voice contact center and service cloud providers are ultimately going to come together. And I predicted it would happen in 5 years because of this disrupted customer journey. So, it's gratifying to see, maybe 15 years later, not quite 15 years later, actually coming to fruition and things coming together.
I'm going to take that bet next time, Tom, if it's a 15-year payoff over 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we see that a lot, and that's a big trend, isn't it? And certainly enterprises are challenged with it also, is that they're often experimenting with lots of different platform, and platform vendors in the CX game. What's driving this kind of fragmentation, and how does Zendesk position itself to ultimately overcome that challenge for its customers?
I think the difference now, I think in the past, people have wanted a best in breed solution. They weren't willing to compromise if one component was substantially less effective than others. What we try to do at Zendesk, and I think what we've done, is we've assembled, whether it's quality assurance, workforce management, case management, AI agents, human co-pilot, voice contact center, routing, you name it, end to end, all coming together to give a really, really integrated solution. And as Jonathan said, in a simple way. And that's fundamentally different, I think, than it has been in the past 15 years. This end-to-end technology stack and changing, as Jonathan has said, the operating model. So it's resolution first. And that's different than I think any other company has done in the industry.
I think on our side as well, it allows us to think a little bit to the future, and for voice is probably at the cutting edge of kind of the AI revolution, because not only kind of voice AI and agentic work is supporting humans, but obviously voice is the most natural human interface for people to communicate. So what does that look like about voice assistants in the future? How do these voice assistants collaborate and coordinate? I mean, what is the tooling and the software for observability to understand when you've got a fleet of digital workers, what they're doing? When they go off the rails, how do you escalate and collaborate with a human? So as well as having AI embedded across the suite, actually being able to step back and think, what does the future of voice look like? What is a contact center in 5 years when you've got digital workers talking to other digital workers on behalf of a customer? We're sort of preparing ourselves and our customers for that future and that eventuality today. So rather than buying a point solution that is sort of boxed out, we're sort of laying the foundations so that our customers can grow on the journey. They tell us security is really important. It's boring, but it's really important. And most of them don't even have any AI governance. Zendesk is highly credible and has security at the center of everything we do. They tell us the feature velocity is really important. Obviously, with the scale of our R&D organization, we're able to adapt and innovate. So I think there's kind of a bunch of areas that we're seeing that matter, but also being able to kind of have an eye to the future for what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe this one's for Tom or Jonathan or both, but we're suggesting here that AI is going to be handling the vast majority of customer interactions in the future, potentially. So what does that mean for the role of the human agent, in the future?
What we've seen with every kind of technology advance in the past is interaction volume has gone up. So when you lower the barriers, the friction between a customer, whether that's a business customer or a consumer working with a company, or an employee, quite frankly, we've seen interactions go up. And we think that same thing is going to happen here. Right now, customer service, quite frankly, is still not great across the board. If that's the case, we predict if it becomes personalized, it becomes proactive, if you get first contact resolution through AI, we expect both consumers, employees, and businesses to contact companies more often. And we think interaction volume is going to go up by about 5x the next 5 years. Saying that, what we think is going to happen is about 80% of interactions in 5 years are going to be resolved by AI. And about 100% of interactions, not about, 100% of interactions are going to have AI involved. So even when it goes to a human, there's going to be co-pilot, there's going to be other things involved. But that is going to be offset by the amount of interactions that are occurring and the complexity of interactions. And so we think human agents are going to be, flattish over the next 5 years, if what we think is, barriers go down, interactions go up. But it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic. If anyone says they're certain what's going to happen over the next 5 years, I wouldn't believe them. That's our point of view. We're not certain because things change every week. It is amazing the pace of AI. Like I get a briefing every week, what's happened the previous week. And we were talking about premise to cloud in the past. That's been pretty constant for the past 15 years in the contact center world. Literally stuff changes quicker in AI, whether it's agentic, whether it's networks of agents. We go on with the list in 1 month. then I think things have changed in the cloud in the past 10 or 15 years.
Rob, to give you a data point, our biggest customer at Zendesk for Contact Center told us last year that not only did the voice volume go up by 2%, but the agent population stayed the same. So just kind of echoing what Tom said, you would sort of hypothesize that these volumes would be going down. And in fact, literally our biggest customer has seen it gone the reverse way. I kind of fully echo and agree with everything Tom said. I think the one point that
That's surprising, Jonathan. You're agreeing with me here.
Well, I was going to say but.
All right, good.
I think the role of the human fundamentally shifts, right? When you're getting rid of the automated work, the high friction, low value work, the cognitive load goes up. And the type of agent you're going to need and the type of education fundamentally shifts. Because when a human then has to kind of manage essentially a number of different workers, whether those are human or digital, the cognitive load, the capability, the complexity of some of those issues fundamentally changes. So while the humans may stay flat, which Tom says, and we should probably take that bet, Tom, in 15 years you might be right, I suspect those humans and the roles that they fulfill will be different. And so you'll see that shift over time.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk to our customers about is if AI agents, or even we have something called generative search on a knowledge base. So think of, you used to type into a frequently asked questions, how do I do X, Y, or Z? We have kind of the equivalent of a Google Gemini, answer now. And so that's taken automation way up on our knowledge base. But that means all these simple answers are getting between the AI agent and generative search on knowledge base. Most of them are getting answered. And so we tell people, you're going to implement our Copilot, for instance, along with this for human agents. Counterintuitively, the average handle time is going to go up because while you're doing generative search on the knowledge base and you're doing the AI agents, all these simple answers are getting done. And so we even encourage people to try to A/B test with Copilot and not, because if you're putting this other AI in the front, you're getting the most complex interactions to your human agents. And just by definition, that means things like average handle time, you should not be surprised that it goes up. Copilot can help that bring it down, but it's still going to go up, which is just kind of a surprising metric when people have been in the contact center, voice contact center, hitting on average handle time, first contact resolution, these normal metrics for the past 25 years. They're getting upset right now. And so when you're reporting your KPIs up, you've got to think about this in your business case.
And so, Rob, customers are looking to us saying, well, what do we do? Our wallboards are now meaningless, right? You've got these metrics that we're getting KPI'd and paid on. And so again, going back to your early question, we're saying, well, let's just focus on the purpose of the contact center, which is resolution. So let's measure the fact that we've delivered to the customer what we promised, and that should be the core metric. Because if the cost to serve falls to zero or near zero with an agentic worker, do we actually care if it takes 10 minutes and the customer gets a resolution versus trying to get them off the phone in 5? Probably not, right? So it's a fundamental rethink of what great looks like.
And that fundamental rethink is not just about, it's about resolutions, but I think people focus on cost, and there is cost savings here. It's also about increasing lifetime value. If you're really delighting your customers with their experience coming into a contact center or a help center, there's going to be a fundamental different loyalty loop with your customers. And so when we're talking to customers, they're talking about rolling out our integrated solution to, again, businesses, to consumers, or to our employees. We really tell them, think not just about the cost savings, there will be some, but also think, are you able to get a better loyalty loop with your employees, the businesses you serve, or the consumers you serve? We think there's that opportunity.
Yeah, it's really interesting there. So, I mean, just to round that part off, I mean, we've got a new pricing model here, outcomes-based pricing potentially. We've got new metrics to consider. So, Jonathan, from your perspective, what should the enterprises out there, the contact center leaders, how should they be looking at these things going forward?
Look, I have a lot of empathy for these folks. I mean, I spend a lot of time in the contact centers with them, and as Tom said, their job has never been more complex and it's never changed faster. And so what we're seeing is our best customers and our best customer outcomes is where we really deeply partner. I don't love the term forward deployed engineers, but the idea of going in, getting your hands dirty with a customer, testing and learning together, because any vendor, any partner that says they can guarantee an outcome is just actually lying. You have to go in, co-create together, and kind of actually chart the future together. And so I would say to these leaders to be open to change, to be open to try things, to be open to A/B test, and to choose partners that share their vision and kind of their mission. And Zendesk is there to be behind them, and there are a number of great vendors in the space as well. But we have a strong point of view that our technology is differentiated, and our people kind of can help create some magic.
To the magic point, we do have a lot of empathy. The job has never been tougher, whether it's a human agent, whether it's an admin, whether it's a VP customer service. It's also blending with sales and marketing right now. So it has never been a more difficult job, but the potential is could never be a more rewarding job. And we really believe another fundamental shift kind of from SaaS to AI is you are going to have more services involved, whether it's forward deployed engineering, whether it's enhanced customer success managers really focused, you hear service architects, AI service architects that are focused on getting that automation rate up while getting the customer satisfaction rate. And so I think in the past, including Zendesk, we've sold SaaS solutions to our customers, and we've had a light ongoing support. I think it's going to be fundamentally different going forward, where you're going to have a much more active through the product, but also with human beings, making sure that you get to the KPIs that a company is driving to.
And Rob, that's new jobs and new roles and new exciting remits for people within a contact center that your audience should be really excited about.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure they are. I mean, looking forward 5 years ahead, I mean, what's the vision here for the contact center in this AI first world? Do you see it evolving into something completely new, perhaps even beyond what we'd recognize as a contact center today? What's your thoughts on that, Tom?
Yeah, I do think it's going to be fundamentally different. Right now, most contact centers are reactive. Okay, I think we're going to get to the point where people are first machines. Contact centers overall are going to be anticipating problems. We have, as one of our customers, a major food delivery company worldwide. It's actually based in EMEA with a bunch of subsidiaries. And one of the things that we're talking about them is they're sometimes going to get the delivery wrong, and maybe it's the restaurant, right? And if that happens, can you anticipate it before it happens and proactively notify the customer? If something goes wrong, can you be really proactive and say, you see this customer every Friday orders tacos. They don't do Taco Tuesdays, they do Taco Fridays. And you say, hey, I'm not only going to refund your current order, but I'm letting you know I'm delivering at noon on Friday, your normal taco order for free. And then just little things like that is going to be more proactive, and you're going to start blurring the lines between what's sales, what's marketing, what's customer service, because you're going to have this loyalty loop. So 5 years from now, it's definitely going to be more automated. It's going to be more automated resolutions. I think it's going to be more proactive. It's going to be more personalized. And you're going to start blurring these lines because everyone's going to be focused on how do I create lifetime value, retention, and satisfaction with my customers, employees, and the businesses that I serve.
Well, we all love proactive customer service, so I look forward to that day. But finally, final question for me: if you could leave our audience and the CX leaders out there with one piece of advice as they prepare for this AI-driven future, what would it be?
What I think the key thing is, I would embrace AI. This is not hype. You're going to be ups and downs. There is a little bit of a hype cycle here, but it is going to fundamentally change the way you provide customer service or employee service, whether it's business or consumers. It is going to fundamentally change your work and the nature of work. And so I tell everyone, embrace AI. If you're an AI expert in whatever job you have on using AI to enhance your job, you're going to be in a much better position than ever before. Interestingly enough, some of the humanities skills for prompt engineering, how you analyze, how you write, how you reason, how you speak, are becoming more and more important. So I would invest in two things: how I can make myself better every day with AI, how I can go enhance my skills, kind of those general humanities skills. And I guess the third thing, and how can I be at the forefront of implementing AI, even though there's going to be some roadblocks, speed bumps, whatever you want to say along the way, in my customer support operations.
With this technology, you can very easily A/B test. You can take a small sliver of your CX volume, test those skills that Tom mentioned, look at the outcomes, and then get started. This isn't like all or nothing like it used to be with on-prem, where you have to lift and shift the entire stack. We can take one intent, one type of business pain for a customer. Maybe it's the taco misdelivery, and you can re-engineer that CX experience. And that's exciting, because when you see one work, you get the confidence to do the second and the third and the fourth.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, folks. But one thing's for sure, the contact center is no longer just about answering calls. It's really becoming that engine of customer relationships in the AI era. So lots of appreciation to Tom and Jonathan from Zendesk for sharing their insights today. And if you'd like to learn more about Zendesk's resolution platform and its role in shaping the future of CX, you'll find a link down below with more information and resources. I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Thanks for watching.